BB for Hodier and Straight Black Pride, brothers and sisters. Your brother DC Radical 1, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby, who got me into doing live streams and radio and things like that. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio at On the Wake Up Radio. Also, you can check us out at onthewakeupradio.com. That's onthewakeupradio.com. Also, you can check us out at otw2.com. That's otw2.com. So, BB for Hody and Straight Black Pride to Brother Elijah, and a BB for Hody and Straight Black Pride to Sister Vanessa. So, despite the chat seems like, even though the numbers are steadily rising, which is interesting in and of itself. That means either we don't have regulars, we have new people who don't come in and greet, or I don't know. Maybe people are late. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Do y'all get notifications when the live stream is planned? Peace and Black Power to Brother Patrick, BB4 Day Straight Black Pride to Brother Crow. Or do y'all get it afterwards? Because sometimes people tell me they get the notification pretty much after I've started. Other people tell me they get it in advance. I try to set it up hours in advance so that it'll show up on people's feed. Then I guess it also depends on how much you watch YouTube, or if you have the settings, if you have the channel set to notifications all. And also, thanks to everyone that is, since Vanessa says she's been getting them in advance. Okay, cool. Thanks to everyone that's been checking out the polls and stuff. I've been doing different polls and stuff and different subjects on the community page. Thanks to everyone for checking that out. So quickly, because this is going to be a quick live stream, maybe an hour at the most. Thanks to everybody that supported, that purchased the live stream this Saturday. The Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad Day is going to be on the Monday that the rest of America celebrates Martin Luther King Day. I just want to let you all know that. And it'll be the time that Brother Genie normally has his chopping it up. So it'll be at 6 p.m. from the headquarters, and it'll be live streamed. And you'll be able to purchase tickets. As soon as I get the flyer, you'll be able to purchase tickets. So that'll probably be Wednesday. And there were some people that said they didn't get the link. There were a couple of people. What I'm going to do is this weekend, I'll open up the link. I'll either open up the link, or, and this will be up to you all, or I can actually, the software has a new feature where I can present previously recorded material as an event, or like a webinar, stuff like that. BB4 and Straight Black Pride. So if I do it like that, then we can have a watch party together. The only thing is I will have to chop it up into 2 different parts. Brother Crow says he gets the notifications on time. All right, cool. So so that, I kind of, it's up to you all. If y'all would like to watch it together, we can do it like that. At least part 1 this weekend. Or if the couple of people that missed out, or a couple of people that wanted to, that weren't able to watch it, and because a couple of people told me they had other things they had to do, but they wanted to watch it, I could just, you all could just send me the money, and I could just open up the link, and y'all can watch it like that. It's up to you all. Y'all let me know. Maybe I'll make a poll out of that, and you can respond, and y'all can let me know tonight. But for those that did watch, and I know I think Sister Vanessa was in the chat. No brother Elijah was in the chat. You all give me your feedback on that lecture. I know I've done it before, but I didn't do it last year. I cannot remember the reason. I believe I did it in 2020. It's the last time I did it. But what's interesting is I could not find the video nor the actual lecture from 2020. So I literally had to redo the back end of this lecture again, based on um, what I had on hand as far as video wise, and then just reset the presentation based upon the format that I knew I had. So so that, and I still left some things out for time. I was trying to make it as tight and crisp as possible and to get the information out. But I mean, one thing I noticed anyway, when I do these, what this one was different. The room was heavier than I remember last time, which was, I got a different reaction than I remember. Um, I think it's weird. I think the last time I did it, I had more people who had never seen me do a presentation at all, and two was not privy to any of the information that I had put in the last time I did it. So they were like just completely blown away. So I think that was the difference. Here, most of the people, everybody had seen me do it before, had seen that some form of that lecture before, but it was, it was somber. you know, it was, it was somber. So it was interesting, but I just wanted to know. Sister Vanessa said she really enjoyed it. I was just trying to get a feel for. I know Brother Elijah said he enjoyed it because he sent me some extra money. Salute to Brother Elijah for that. And oh yeah, no, I know what I wanted to say too. Hey, peace to Lord Bill. I had planned to do, as y'all know, a 6-part lecture series. Right now, that is dependent upon how much support I get for the next lecture, because I'm working on something in February dealing with black male female relationships with partnering with somebody. It's not something I normally do too often, and so if that comes off for February, then I will not be doing that lecture in February, more than likely, because this is what we got planned to be a kind of a big event. Hopefully, that's the plan. The person has a large network of people that they work with, and they've had, they've been to my events. They've done events themselves, and so they got a large. We have a large. What's the word I'm looking for? Before they you got ripped off. Not a large fan base, but large network. That's what I'm looking for. A large network. So, you say, will we be live? You say, will we be live? You say, will we be live streaming that? It is like, it's going to be like a community forum. So it's not going to be it's just going to be like a talk. It's going to be like a frank talk between black men and black women. And so I haven't decided, like the details haven't been ironed out, just being completely honest. We just agreed that we were going to do it, and kind of agreed on the format. But anything beyond that hasn't been agreed upon. So as far as like live streaming and like taking questions from the from the audience, the live stream audience and things like that, hasn't been, none of that has been decided, you know, because the only thing about stuff like that is that you do stuff like that, then people don't want to appear on camera, and then people don't want to, may not want to express themselves, and um things like that. So it's kind of, that's why it's up in the air, because I want the interaction to be as organic as possible. And sometimes people change when the camera's on, you know they're not themselves. And so that's why I haven't really thought of, I mean, I've thought about it a lot, as you can see from my answer, but I haven't made a decision, is what I'm trying to say. So brother, you got ripped off. Man, let me tell you something. I've come to the conclusion that I'm just on Instagram, I'm just shadow banned out the wazoo. Every In the last few days, almost every day I post, I lose one follower, according to them. I think they're just messing with the numbers just to see how I'm gonna react. But yeah, shadow ban ain't even the word. I don't, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so um those things are up in the air. Like I said, how the Dr. Khaled day goes will let me know. Dr. Khaled is, being completely honest, infinitely more popular and well-known person than Dr. Chancellor Williams, because he's um, someone that is closer to modern times. The sad reality is that we're not, just be completely honest, we're not even producing the quality of people anymore of either of those two giants. It's just, it is what it is. So, but I will see, because it takes the thing about it is, it takes a certain amount of resources and time for me to put these together and present them, and with the tech and stuff like that, because there's a certain amount of quality uh, um, that I try to do. And sometimes you get it to the best part, sometimes you don't. Brother BB40, man, says he does not see my posts as frequently as he used to. One thing I've realized they've done, brother, is that if I don't interact with people, like as far as, because I don't see your posts a lot, to be completely honest. Like if I'm like literally, if you do not DM me stuff occasionally, most of the time I notice that people don't see my stuff. Like if it's not somebody that I interact with on that app a lot, or somebody that I don't, even sometimes if it's somebody that I don't interact with their stuff a lot, like if I don't like their stuff a lot or something like that, yeah, I just don't see their stuff. Or I'll see it like days later. Like there's people I've been following on Instagram for years. I almost never see their stuff. And it's not that I don't agree with them or want to support them or anything like that. It's just the way they got the algorithm now. And let me say this real quick. In this day and time, everything that is being done by who, by the hats, is being done to break community, right? And brother, you got ripped off. I'm gonna get to that real quick. It's to break community. So at first, of course, we were talking about breaking community. We were talking about breaking up the family and things like that, and the discord between black men and black women, and men and women in general, and the attack on masculinity which is the protective force of community. Normally, naturally, but that it has gone beyond that to now the digital realm of breaking community and censorship and trying to stop people from passing on information and people who will have like minds from interacting and things like that. Everything now in the digital space is mirroring what's been taking place in the real world, right, brother? Anti-social media now, right? So that's why something like TikTok, which is very quick and short attention span, is made popular because one, it kind of once you lower people's attention span, your capacity to intake information is lowered, and thus you simply are not as informed. Simply because you don't even have the capacity to be informed, because you don't have the attention span to delve deeply into concepts. And so that's why I haven't even tried to enter spaces like that. I understand the value of them if you can find somebody that masters it and can present a lot of information in a short span of time, or at least present to enough information to hook people in, you know. But yeah, so that's what's going on with that. Brother, you got ripped off. Said the YouTube questions are a great tool for upcoming programs, especially when you practice the question answers all over the place. For example, the question on mixed people. Yeah. And yeah, some of those, to your point, some of those will be used for future what's the word I'm looking for future programs. But a lot of times I just try to see where people's heads are at, and also it's a way for me to keep the channel active without having to do as much video content or live streams and things like that. Because you know there's a lot going on in the world, but it's not a lot going on that I can talk about on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? And so it's a way to kind of like subvert that and still kind of get the thoughts and ideas out. Be before the straight black pride, brother Desaline. So what one thing I had wanted to do, but I didn't get it edited in time because I had some other thing to take care of. I kind of had a panic moment. I don't know if you're trying to do something and then you don't have the tools and resources for it and you're not really sure what happened. I had one of those moments early, so I didn't get a chance. I was going to show part of the gravesite ceremony because we were only out there after I looked at the footage, like literally recorded 15 minutes of the ceremony. And we recorded 15 minutes of the ceremony because the ceremony was 15 minutes because that was the day when it was like 8 degrees here in DC. So, it's like bam. That's how that went. And he said, I think I'm not really familiar with Zoom. Well, the interesting thing now is the software I use now actually I can now, as I said previously, I can use that for not just like pre-recorded stuff, but I can use it for an event without the need to use YouTube. Like I just haven't, like the plan that I pay for that software, I would have to upgrade the software, upgrade the plan. So I would have to pay more. So I've been debating whether or not that is whether it be beneficial for me to pay that extra. No, because it's not an exorbitant amount, but it is enough because they had, I pay you for the year, so it's on. I would have to pay the difference for the year instead of monthly. So it's enough that I got to look around for some extra change in my pocket, if you understand what I'm saying. So let's see. You got ripped off saying the people. You say it's just your post that. Wait a minute. Hold on. You said you see all these other people, and you said it's just my post that are blocked. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. A brother told me that he said that I'm so shadow banned that when he reposts my original post, not the post that I repost, but when he reposts my original post, no one sees it from his account, which I thought was like phenomenal by the hats. That's just sensational that they can able to do that. That thought had never even occurred to me. You know what I'm saying? Till he said it, I was like, where? I said, you know what? That makes sense. I'm like, wow. So that's banned at the source. So even if it goes to other people, it's still banned. It's just never viral. Which explains something I had thought about for a long time. I was trying to figure out. I was like, why is it when we do certain stuff, I don't get the same number of likes? Now, you know, the number of likes I get now on stuff as opposed to what I used to get is just it really is unbelievable. And they haven't sent me any more notifications about um them because they had sent me a notification basically saying I was shadow banned, which was funny. I was, because for years they were like, we don't do this, we don't shadow ban, we don't, and they literally were like, yeah, we're shadow banning you. And I was like, oh wow, thanks for letting me know. But the the stuff I get is just it's hilarious how bad it is. It's also funny to see the numbers keep consistently going down while people are following me. That in and of itself, it's like they have a negative counter. Like every time somebody follows me, they just subtract. But how many people, if you follow me on Instagram, did y'all see the the video of from Ujima school? How many people saw that? For those that don't know, Ujima Shule is the oldest African centered school in the country, and started in, I believe, 1968. So, um, I took a couple of short clips that night. Baba Zulu, he he's the founder. He has a long history. He started off in the civil rights movement, freedom riders and all that. BB Fode, the brother I Allen. Brother, I got you. We were just talking about the people that had missed it, that either I didn't, because some people registered late, but I didn't get the link to you. Just let me know whether or not, because I did. No, did I send you the link? Let me know. Let me know if you got a chance to see it. I think I did send you the link, but just let me know because we're either either gonna open up the link again, or we're gonna have a whole watch party this weekend. So we haven't decided that, and no one has voted, so I guess no one cares. But anyway, well, yeah. Oh, brother, you said you just saw the Ujamaa video yesterday. Yeah. So what I was saying is probably, yeah. During Black History Month, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, during Black History Month, I'm gonna interview Baba Zulu on here. A lot of you are probably not familiar with him. Baba Zulu, where he has the school is basically, if you're in shape. Um, okay, brother. All right, you got to watch that. All right. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna open up the link again this week, and I think that's what I'll do. So you'll be able to catch the second half. Um, Baba Zulu School is basically in shape, walking distance from Howard University, and he has a building that covers basically like part of the block, like on one side of the street covers the whole block, and then part of the block on another side of the street. And the area around his school has been completely gentrified, right? So it's gone from basically totally black to totally white in that area. And they built up business district in that area, and Urugu bought the houses in the area, and all of a sudden you got a rat infestation problem. That's the weird part about DC. This is God's honest truth. Y'all gonna laugh at me when I say this. This is the God's honest truth. In DC, and I found this out years ago, right? Wherever Urugu is, wherever the Euros come, the rat problem follows. This is God's honest truth. Like if you go downtown near the White House, the rats are like ridiculous and ginormous. I'm telling you, I'm not making this stuff up. But where black people are, you don't normally see rats like that. You might see a couple of field mice. If the people in poverty, they may have a roach issue. They don't have rats. Man, I'm telling you, you can go uptown, you can go to some places where people houses are valued very high. $1 million homes, and they got rats running around in the alley behind their house. it's just how DC is always been like that. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing, man. But anyway, so that's what I'm gonna definitely have. Brother say Chocolate City. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Chocolate City been straight black pride of Sister Nina. Definitely, it hadn't been in Chocolate City probably 15 years now. Oh yeah, brother. Yeah. Yeah. But what was I getting ready to say? Yeah, so I'm gonna try to have Baba Zulu on. I talked to him. He said he had no problem, so I'm gonna try to have him on during Black History Month. So I'll let you all know in advance. I just gotta call him and set up the date and make sure he has the technology. He probably had to get one of his students to help him out. But this tech, the software I use is pretty it's pretty simple for somebody to get on and be a guest. So that's part of the reason I like it. But yeah, I just want to introduce people to him because I know a lot of people outside of the city don't know him, and he's lived an incredible life. If you come into the school, you'll see pictures of him. Brother B 40, man, say he saw her the rats at Georgetown. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that has been the ritzy part of town for a long time. So, but that's where them folks is at too. But Baba Zulu has lived an incredible life, and like when you go into the school, you see pictures of the people he has met and known. I'm talking about like everybody. I'm talking about like Dr. Ben, Dr. Khaled, Minister Farrakhan, what's the Baba that would the president of Zimbabwe for years. I'm trying to blank. I don't know why. Y'all know what I'm talking about though. I can picture him. I can't remember his name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Just Dr. Clark, just you name it, man. You name it, man. Baba Zulu has met so many people over the years, worked with so many people. He marched with Dr. King, Fannie Lou Hamer. He tells the story of how they didn't want them because they didn't want the people to vote. They didn't want them teaching the people to read. So they were, Robert Mugabe. Thank you, brother. So you saying they was out in the bush teaching the people to read, man. So, Kwame Ture when he was Stokely Carmichael. I mean, you name it. Like he's met all these people, right? He's met them. rocking with someone when they were young. Some other people he met that he doesn't like anymore, or when some of them have transitioned, good riddance to bad rubbish. But people that he used to rock with, that he knew back in the day, they was, doing the freedom rides and all that stuff. So it like he's a living history book, you know. And the school has been very successful as far as producing students who a lot of times people will graduate from his school 15, 16, go on to college, graduate college in 3 years, things like that. That's the type of quality education that he's been able to provide for our people, and the type of quality people has been able to produce. So I've been a big proponent, advocate for his school, um, for probably the last decade. Donated a lot of money, and like I said, the Urugu have been doing a lot of dirty tricks, man. Trying to find a way to confiscate that property. So we don't have a lot of institutions that really we just don't have a lot of institutions, man, that are powerful and that are entrenched in the community. And one of the things gentrification has done is that it breaks up it breaks up our community, and by breaking up our communities, it helps to slowly weaken and destroy our institutions. I've seen I've seen churches that have been around for years move out of the city. Um, yeah, we got some intruders, brother. You got ripped off. If you can smack the intruders in here, I think it's some bots advocating some ridiculous nonsense. I noticed that lately. I'm noticing that on a lot of people's channels. I'm like, I don't even, I'm a miniature channel. Why y'all come over here bothering me with the nonsense? But so yeah, so Baba Zulu is definitely, one of my Bibles, one of my elders, and yeah, they in the chat, brother. And so yeah, I'm trying to definitely have him on so that I can introduce you all to him. And if y'all feel so inclined, you can support Ujima Shule. Sister Vanessa says, when we do have an institution, they want to start being inclusive with everyone. But Baba Zulu been around for half a century. I haven't even, that's not his thing. He's from before the Black Power movement, right? He saw the Black Power movement be born, and he built his institution in the midst of the Black Power movement. So, he's old school. Different from a lot of people would say today. You say, what you say, really? You say after Jeannie came on, you say yours messes up and the box came. Well, I mean, I just do it. I just say it like this. When I was in the nation years ago, one thing they used to say is that if the enemy isn't messing with you, that means you ain't doing nothing. You ain't putting in no work. So that's how I look at that. Oh, I want to ask y'all real quick too, because I know I'll be late with stuff. But has anybody seen this documentary of Muhammad Ali's life that Antoine Fuqua put together? I don't even actually know the name of it. I was going through. It's on HBO Max, and it just came up recommended, and I just started watching the first episode, and it just reminded me how special Ali was as a person. I just wonder, has anybody else seen that? and what they thought of it. But I was looking at it today, and I was like, man, where? I was like, I missed this. Where was I at when this came out? But just, I've just been thinking. I was just like, we don't. Man, maybe I'm just getting old. I'm reminiscing. That's scary because you start reminiscing, you know what I mean. But but I didn't get to see Ali in this problem, so I can't reminisce about that because I ain't see it. But I was just thinking, I don't, and y'all tell me, maybe I'm tripping. I don't think we put out, not that we put out, that's not the word I'm looking for. I don't think we produce the quality of people we used to produce. You know what I'm saying? In the abundance that we used to produce them. I'm not saying we don't produce great people who do great things, but I'm saying in the abundance that we used to produce them, right? Like I was like literally thinking, you know, and Ali's a special case because the nation helped shape him when he was young, for good and bad. I'll say that, but he was special before that. You know what I'm saying? He was just born special. He was just great, and then they gave him uh some knowledge that was confounding to the Europeans of the time. They hadn't deciphered it yet, and that made him just made for a great person, not a perfect person. He definitely had his flaws. That his weakness for women and his weakness for women was only matched by their weakness for him, and that's how it works a lot of times. As a man, like, you know, if you like women and the women like you, it is what it is. Sometimes, I mean, you know, we've all been there. But now I found it just the part I saw. As much as I know about Ali, as much as I've seen movies and documentaries and things like that, it was still not just exciting, but it still like seemed like it had new information and clips and videos and stuff I've never seen before. So I just found that interesting. So I was just wondering, had anybody else seen it? And I was just wondering how late I was, because I know I'm late. I'm sure it's been out for a long time, but yeah. So, Sister Farnessa, had you seen the Africa versus everybody lecture before? Because I got a feeling you've seen it before, and I want to know if you have, what was different about this one, or what do you think was different, or how this one hit you as opposed to the last one? Um, it's I was gonna come on yesterday and actually do this show, but I was exhausted. You say maybe that's a program to do great black athletes. Yeah, that's a thought. Um, that's a thought. So nobody else has really seen it. Yeah, I would like the closest. And for those of you who watch boxing, the closest that we have, I'm trying to think. The closest that we had, and I'm not comparing them as boxers because they're completely different. Okay, you said you've seen it before. Well, you said there were a few different videos that were added and really enjoyed those things that you didn't know. Right? Yeah. Like I said, I had to definitely, like the second part. I had to totally rebuild. I didn't even have the previous slides or anything from that. I just lost that one altogether. To this day I don't know what happened. It's funny because I have like the video. I have the very beginning of the lecture, and then that cuts off. So I had nothing to work with outside of memory and a very old version that had the first part, and I had to kind of rework that. So it was just like, it's like, you know, it was weird because you're like, okay, I'm redoing a lecture. I can just change up a couple of things. Now this one was like, oh my god, I got to redo the lecture. That's It's not quite what I had in mind, but I'm glad that you enjoyed the new stuff that was added. But I'm trying to think in the modern time, like in the last few years, you know, athletics has become so commercialized, and if you're part of a league or anything, as we see with how they did Kyrie, like any type of stepping out of line, man, is almost like you know what I'm saying? It's almost like they whip the person publicly so so no one else follows in their footsteps. So I give credit to some of the brothers in the NBA that really stepped in to back Kyrie, because things are way more. Boxing is different because there's no league, there's no any of those things. Brother said Clarissa Shields seemed to be giving sisters a positive image. Yeah, I have, like, I followed her like when she was in the Olympics, and I followed her early in her boxing career, but I haven't followed her lately. And women's boxing is such a niche sport, so that's the only thing with that. The closest thing that we would have had, and he's not comparable to Ali, but he was on that trajectory to be that type of person because of the type of person he is. And to be honest, in a different time, weirdly enough, because part of what made Ali is the backing of the nation. We don't have an institution that's strong and militant to allow somebody to express those views and still have the backing and be able to make their money and not be penalized like that. But the closest thing we've had recently is Deontay Wilder, and he was on that trajectory. I've watched his career since he was young. He was on HBO. His story is pretty incredible, to be honest, because he started boxing, I think, like 18 or 19, just to try to make some money to take care of his daughter. His daughter had some type of medical issue, and he just went about knocking out everybody for first, I don't even 40 people he fought, or something crazy. At least the first 30, he knocked them out. Like, I'm not talking about like a TKO. I'm talking about people stretched out, laid out, having seizures and convulsions, all that types of stuff. And he fought the big white boy. And for those who probably don't know, because y'all don't watch boxing, I'll just say it like this: there were things in that fight that night that I was suspicious of, and now those suspicions are starting to come to light because the big white boy, I don't even like saying his name, has been connected with a Irish mobster who's a global drug dealer of the level that, like, Pablo Escobar type level. Like, you don't even normally hear about white people on this level of criminality because they don't tell us about him. We had no idea who he was until I follow boxing pretty heavy. I follow some boxing channels on YouTube, and all types of information started coming out about this dude and his dealings, and how he's laundering his money through boxing, and backing this white boy and backing some other dude. So the Wilder knockout train was stopped probably by some illegal activity. I just put it like that. It's a long story I don't want to get into. I don't want to turn this into a boxing show, but I just put it like this: there are a lot of reasons why we don't get to have the great athletes we had, including the leagues not wanting them to be, wanting them to have a certain image. People like LeBron could be a huge person. It's just fun necessary, right? We only hear about Freeway Ricky Ross, right? Right. I mean, everybody knows Freeway Rick. Nobody knows Danilo Blandone, which is why I focused in on Blandone for that lecture. Like everybody, like we may know Pablo Escobar, but that dude, the dude I'm talking about, Daniel Kinahan, he actually started a consortium of drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? And dealing with arms and stuff like that. Like this dude is ridiculously big. When I started finding out this information, I was like, how is this even possible? I've never heard of this guy. I'm talking about he is like the drug dealer of Europe. And he was living over in Dubai. But he made the mistake of running into some DEA agents who never returned home to their families. And that's when the U.S. government, apparently that's when he came on their radar. But yeah, they, like with the Interpol list and stuff like that, we never hear about that stuff. It's huge, man, just ridiculous criminals, European criminals, white criminals, and man, we don't even know anything about that. I mean, they make they make they make our people look like amateurs, to be completely honest. Just complete and total amateurs. You say Alphabet Mafia is covering for these folks. Oh, first of all, don't even the Rainbow Crew, the type of people that they have doing criminality goes without saying. And then, of course, the stuff that the degeneracy that's going on in Hollywood, and you hear about this stuff years later. Or like what was this? Corey Haim, was that his name? I don't know. It was one of the courts because there used to be two of them, but one of them I think committed suicide or overdose or something. But the type of pedophilia he was talking about in Hollywood was it's just mind blowing. And he said that you meant, oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the CIA, the Blandone case, it makes it plain. You know what I'm saying? The Blandone case makes it. All right. Can y'all still hear me? I was disconnected and I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Um, yeah, I just got kicked out of the software, and yeah, that was weird. I mean, I'm not even talking about anything serious, so I guess that was just a technical glitch. That was weird. All we were talking about, all we did was talk about, how big some of these white criminals are, and I was gone. I was literally just kicked out the software, and they're like, "Hey, you're disconnected. Would you like to go back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would like to go back." I don't understand. Hasn't that happened once before? Didn't I don't know, man. Yeah, but yeah. Um well, you got ripped off. I heard you talk about on the I heard you talk about it on Jeannie's show this morning. So I'm gonna just be completely honest, bro. A lot of times, situations like that will have to be addressed, you know, by extrajudicial means. That's the best way I can say it. You know, um, You know what? Send me that. Send me all that information. I'll do a radical report on it. That's all I that's but yeah, only thing I knew about that is what you said. And man, sometimes stuff is so frustrating. I'm trying to be I'm trying to be I'm trying to be balanced. I'm trying not to say something that, you know, not only get this shut off, but have them come kick in my door. But and we got to remember too, something Jeannie said, that we're going to see, and I know I said this before too. I know I said it a couple of months ago. We're going to see situations meant to inflame um the already, I mean, we already don't like each other, inflame the tensions between black people and white people, and specifically the the black people who don't like white people the most, and the white people that don't like black people the most. And we've talked about why that is, because if they come to an agreement on hats being the issue, then it's over with. Um, brother, I'm not sure if it's brother sister. You say Black American Mid Atlantic Movement. Um, say what I think about black people building a homeland in Washington D.C. and Virginia. I would put it like this: that would have been a lot more viable years ago. I mean, gentrification has really changed the demographics of this area. So it's going to be a lot more difficult than it would have been, say, in the year 2000. I'll say it like that. The demographics of this area have really changed. And with that, the mentality of the people has changed, because the type of well, first of all, a lot of black people have been pushed out. Second of all, a lot of the black people who have come into the area are not the type of black people who you're going to be able to build with, because they're integrationists. Just plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? They're here because the demographics have changed, not because of how it used to be. So that's my opinion on that. But you can reach out to me on my email, and if you want to like discuss that further. Sister Nina say, when's the next mixer? Well, we don't have one planned. We don't have one. We don't have one planned. Like I said, in lieu of a mixer, like what I talked about earlier, uh, as far as the I don't even know what we're gonna call it, but I guess the community forum on relationships. That's the next thing dealing with male female relationships that I'm working on. I don't know, you know, I don't, the mixers were always held at E-Life. That was a good venue because you had food there, and a lot of things going on. I don't know. Um, I don't know if we'll be able to do those there again. And outside of there, there's not really a spot where I know the ownership or have a good relationship with the ownership. Um, hmm. Yeah, I just don't know. I'm sitting here now thinking of some places that I know, and it's not a lot. There's not a lot of venues. That's one thing when I talk to people around the country, as far as like, when I ask people what's going on in their area, um, what type of organizing is going on, things like that. When I ask people those things, one of the things that they say, one of the biggest issues they have is that they're, there are not a lot of places to meet. There are not a lot of venues to do things. And so that seems to be kind of well, I mean, that's planned though, because of gentrification. That's part of it, is to disperse the people, like we were talking about earlier. You disperse black people with gentrification. You disperse people in general with, the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that stuff. You disperse people with the way the social media is locked down and the shadow banning and all that. Everything is about dispersing people, whether it's black people or even like-minded people of any way, shape, or form. So that's, I mean, that's why. So that, I mean, that's kind of the situation we're in. So, yeah, I don't know when. So that's what I'm saying. Since I don't know when it'll be the next singles mix. The first thing you got to do is find a suitable venue. We don't have the same working relationship with eLife that we had previously. For those that don't know, and so since those things, like all the singles mixes were done there, all the ones that I organized were done there, just because of the way it was set up, and I will only do them if I'm in charge of it. I will only do them uh, at a black owned venue, and they're not. There's not a lot, you know. I had there was an Ethiopian business, actually not too far from me, where I knew the owner, and we were trying to work out doing something, and he ended up losing the business. He didn't make enough money, so he closed up shop, and I lost his information. So that was another connect I had that went away, because we were going, you know, he knew some other people that had nicer venues than his, and he was trying to expand his business, but just ain't, yeah, it didn't work out that way. So yeah, sister. So like I said, it depends on, all of that is dependent upon finding a comparable venue, and then they're getting ready to move. Eli is getting ready to move, um, sometime in the future. I don't know their plans. I talked to a couple of people, but things seem to be up in the air. So they're moving to a bigger space. So if I do something, maybe it'll be in, maybe it'll be in the bigger spaces. Brother Patrick says one of the tactics that's used to gentrify black cities is poisoning the water supply, like they did in Flint and Jackson. Uh, but yeah, well, I don't even think, I'm not even sure if they did it in Flint to gentrify the place. I just think they just. I mean, and you may be right. I'm not arguing with you. I don't even know. I just know they just, and maybe, yeah, maybe that is a reason. But Flint is one of those places. That whole Rust Belt is just been falling apart. And if they got any extra money, it definitely ain't going to the places where black people are. And if they can get rid of the black people by whatever means, and that's a great covert way to do it, then yeah, they'll definitely do that, brother, to your point. And the Jackson thing, I think they've been, the minute that Brother Chokwe Lumumba won that election, they've been in the crosshairs ever since. You know, I'm not even, I can't, I'm sitting here trying to remember the circumstances of his transitioning, then his son coming on. So he wins, he transitions, his son runs, he wins. And then you have the water situation take place, which of course usually the blame is going to be put on the public servant, which is him. So whether or not they want the black people there or not, I mean, hell, Mississippi is plenty of black people there, but we know for a fact they don't want that type of dynamic black leadership amongst the black people there. And whatever they can do to stop that and get rid of that, we've seen that they will do it without question. Um, so yeah, that is they got a bag of tricks, and that's one of them. And to your point, DC's water had a horrible reputation when DC was 85% black. You don't hear about those situations as much now as you did then. Now that it's probably, be honest, we might be down to 45% black in the city. So yeah, relative to your point, that's one of those that's one of many tricks that they have up their sleeve when you want to practice Negro removal. You know, the police are a large part of that as well. I remember talking to attorney um, attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz years ago, and he was talking about the use of the police force to as a vanguard to gentrification. This probably was 10 years ago. He was talking about this, which makes sense because when you one thing about Europeans when they come around, they get very bold. But if you haven't removed the type of brothers who are naturally rebellious, that boldness that Europeans have will get them knocked upside the head by certain people just because of the way they walk around and talk and act. It's some brothers who, while not having knowledge or anything, you're just not gonna come in their neighborhood acting like you own it without getting smacked up. So you got the police have to take care of those people first before you start really gentrifying, because you have to make the gentrifiers feel safe. Um, and Brother Patrick said once the black people out of Flint and Jackson, the property value is going to go through the roof, just like in Brooklyn and Harlem. I saw the transformation because I was going back and forth to New York over the years. I saw the transformation of Brooklyn. That's crazy. I've seen that, and yeah, and the whole Harlem thing, man, it's just disappointing because Harlem's been the black mecca for 100 years. So just thinking about that makes me sad. And I'm not even from New York, but I understand the historical significance of a place like Harlem. But to your point, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see it like this. When you start getting certain um, when the business district of a place gets revamped and you start seeing when you see the Whole Foods and the what's the coffee people, uh, what I'm talking about. When you see those two show up, yeah, you in trouble. That's all I'm saying. When that first Whole Foods gets built, and then that Starbucks gets thrown up, yeah, them folks they are on your doorstep. You know, next thing you know, you're gonna have doggy parks and dog grooming shops and all yoga studios and all this type of stuff, man. I mean, once you compare notes, you see this stuff all over the place. But yeah, so but um back to Dr. Khaled Day. How many people plan on purchasing tickets for that? Y'all let me know in the chat. Personally, that's Janie's favorite lecture of mine. um, and that one is, I guess that one is more in what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, you planning two sisters. That one is brother, you got ripped off. Says one's better eateries and bike lanes. Yeah, yeah, bike lanes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, bike lanes, definitely. Forgot about that. You know, I've never seen so many bikes in DC. And then I and those do y'all have those scooters everywhere? Those are the new electric scooters. Y'all got those in y'all city? Because people be riding around in them things in DC like they in a car or something. I'm like, yo, you do realize like if the wind blow, you're gonna go flying over that thing. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people just zooming down, you know, down the street in the middle of the night. And I'm just like, okay, y'all have fun with that. No helmet, no nothing, just going for it, having a good old time. It's just that's how them folks live, man. That's how they are. That's part of their spirit. But okay, cool. But yeah, so okay, I see, brother Elijah. So I yeah, I just want to come on, man, and I didn't actually recap this lecture, but yeah, for those who saw it, what was your favorite part? Before I get out of here, I'm gonna get out here by 9:30. But for those who saw it, what was your favorite part, or what was a part? What part did you learn, or what information did you learn that you had not heard of or seen before? You know, because really, my goal is. You say you giving one away. Did you give one away this time, brother? And if so, did you give one away to somebody you know? And if so, what was their response? I was told that I was told that I should burn some DVDs and give them away and give away some DVDs in the community. Oh, yeah, you know the type of ones I'm talking about. Oh, y'all got them up there. Yeah, yeah, they love them. They love them down here. Um, man, just we just two different people. That's all I would say. We just two different people, man. The stuff that they do, the stuff they into, man. And the only thing that scares me is how younger generations, man, are they're so integrated, and they just don't seem to have an identity. Um. Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Becky. Yeah. I already knew that. I knew the sisters would love that part. And Chickasaw Freedom. Yeah, yeah. That was when I read the book probably about I think about 3 years ago. Yeah, Black Slaves Red Masters. Well, maybe it's longer ago than that. I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. But yeah, when I really started looking into that stuff, started reading those books. Um, yeah, brother, I was thinking that too. I was thinking that too. I don't even because now everything is digital. I was like, even thumb drives is kind of like I don't know. But you say Blandone was most informative. Yeah, I figured that because I said if you weren't around, you missed it. You know, and it was wild seeing because I saw them clips and I saw Gary Webb and it was wild seeing Gary Webb because I had almost forgot what he looked like. You know, and I don't give a lot of Urugu credit, but I gotta give him credit. I mean, that dude, it, whether he knew it or not, he put his life on the line and ultimately lost his life for putting out that information. Which we would have, which was at the time was suspected. No, we suspected, quote unquote, the government, but for a reporter to be like, yeah, the CIA is selling drugs, is pushing drugs in the black community. And this is how they're doing it. And this is who they're doing it through. And this is how it works. I mean, really was incredible journalism that you don't even see today. And he paid, well, he paid the ultimate price. you know, he paid the ultimate price. Um, so I gotta give credit what credit is due. I don't even, and it, I haven't read the book in so long. I do have the book. For those who, you can still get Dark Alliance. For those who never read it, you can purchase that. And he had a lot of information, government documentation, and everything. And now, of course, Freeway Ricky has he's been doing interviews and things like that. And he said he found out a lot of the information after the fact. He didn't. The most interesting thing, and I didn't have anything from him in it because I wanted to focus on Blandon, was he said when he got locked up, he couldn't read. This guy was making millions of dollars pushing drugs, and he was virtually illiterate. And so he was an easy mark for Blandon. And for those who saw the lecture, Blandon said that he was going. I mean, he said specifically he was going to the black community to push weight, as we used to call it back in the day. And said that nobody pays attention to what's going on down there, and when they kill each other, nobody cares, and blah 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 blah. And and they pay cash, right? That was part of this thing. They got money. They and I was watching an interview because while I was doing this, I was watching an interview with Rick, and he was saying he didn't take no weight on consignment or credit. You know what I'm saying? He paid for his. That was just part of how that's part of how he did business. And then he was trying to do something legitimate and was working with some people when he got arrested. And maybe arrested a second time. And Blandon had set him up for that. And then he got off of his charges. So, by the way, you can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, and Twitter, dc_radical_one. And follow me on OTWTube at dcradical1. The Cash App is $DC_radical1. Of course, this is a YouTube, and you can email me at dc.radical_1 at protonmail.com. So, Sister Nina says, SBP events are the only place where I can meet the type of brothers I need in my life. That is flattering and disappointing at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's flattering because that means we're doing the work, but it's disappointing because it means like the lone voice in the wilderness type of thing. And I know I ask you all this all the time, and I know y'all tell me the same thing, but in the cities that you all are in, is anybody doing any work? Like, is anybody doing any organizing? Is anybody doing any events? I know Baba Baruti was scheduled to do his event the same day, but he was having I heard he was having back issues and he wasn't able to attend the event, but they had the event moving forward. But other than the Barutis, and I see some other people kind of post some stuff, but I don't really see too much. I don't know. I guess SBPM, I guess no one does what we do. I did see, it's interesting. It's funny. There's a bookstore here in DC that they were doing a singles mixer thing, and a sister in our organization, she had me laughing. She's like, she can imagine what type of fiasco that's going to be, and all types of rainbows and integrationists and nonsense that's going to be at. And this is an institution that's been around, it's very powerful for a long time, but the spirit of it has changed, and to the point that they don't even like they don't carry Janie stuff. They don't carry. For a while, they were carrying Baba Rudy stuff, but they don't carry like they won't carry. Uh, um, they won't carry like sex imperative. They won't carry like feminization. His book on homophilia, basically. You know, they won't carry that. But I can't. One of his books they do carry, like maybe Iwa, but yeah, they so. I'm like, okay, they biting our style. But I wasn't mad because I got the idea from somebody else. I got the idea from another organization. They stopped doing it. The organization basically became defunct. And so I just picked up that idea from them. So I ain't worried about it. Sister Farnessa says, nope, our people are too scared and refuse to stop to be inclusive integrationists to their detriment. And you said you saw Dr. Group's post regarding moving to a bigger venue. Yeah, they're that whole strip mall where he's at. That whole strip mall where they at, they're like rebuilding that whole thing piece by piece. And brother, you got Rizal said Baruti canceled altogether. Yeah. I talked to a sister in Atlanta. She let me know that Baba had canceled, but they well, maybe she was at a different event. I thought she was just went to I thought they just went on with whoever else they had on the card, or maybe they just brought in some other people, or what. I don't know the details, but she the one that told me that Baba didn't that he canceled, that he couldn't make it because of health reasons. So, because I asked how, so that's the information that I had. And that was that. But I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I really want to get into before I get off of here? No, every time y'all tell me that's disappointing. That Brother Patrick, you still out here? What's going on in New York before I get off of here? Is nothing going on in New York? Nobody building, nobody doing nothing? I know my good brother Desaline, I know he does his thing, but all the different organizations and groups y'all got up there, nobody doing nothing. I know people are leaving New York. People moving down. I know some people in New York talking about moving down to Georgia, which I'm like, if it's one place, I'm not going. I'm not going to Georgia, man. First of all, everybody beat me down there, so I refuse to go somewhere and see the same people that I could have seen if I stayed where I'm at. So that's not happening. Man, Brother Patrick said New York is finished. Brother Desaline says about to start a podcast. Okay, brother. Yeah, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Soon as you do that, let me know the details, and I will I'll definitely repost it on Instagram and talk about it here. You know what I'm saying? That brother has shown me nothing but love since the day I met him. You know what I'm saying? That's a good brother right there, man. I have nothing but love and respect for Brother Desaline. It's straight like that. And you said you're gonna start doing some charity work out of Black Elephant. All right, cool. I gotta get back up there, man. And I gotta get back up there, just chill, hang out with you and hang out with you and some other people I know up there. Man, it's that bad. Wow, Brother Patrick, that's disappointing. That's disappointing, man. I'm not, because you got 5 boroughs. I figured that Black people be able to hang in there in one of the spots. I mean, I saw what was going on in I saw what was going on in Brooklyn years ago. I was like, what is happening? Yeah, brother. Yes, sir, brother. Straight Black Pride to you, man. Yeah, that's you know. Um, so they man. So wow. So what? I mean, okay. Yeah, I ain't gonna never mind. I ain't gonna get into a whole brother Destiny say homophiles are super rampant out there. Yeah, I ain't even gonna get into a whole New York discussion because I was about to start asking y'all borough by borough, but I ain't gonna do that. We be the new just what y'all telling me is bad enough news that I don't need no more details. I'm good, man. But yeah, brother, Destiny, you was telling me for a while though that man, the homophilia is just like crazy, just taking over. So you've been saying that for a while. So I'm not surprised, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing here, to be honest. It's the same thing in DC. And that's the thing. The gentrifiers in DC are homophiles. So if you go around Howard University, for example, where all that area that they bought up, the houses and stuff, and you all you see is rainbow flags. And it was crazy because you used to see rainbow flags and Black Lives Matter flags, and yet they was going all up Howard University having their dogs out there, leaving their waste all over the place, and they out there trampling all on the grass and just basically desecrating the place. But Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, typical European stuff, man. So, yeah, y'all know how it is. So, but with that being said, man, SBPM still gonna hold the line. We gonna still do what we do. Brother Genie's doing what he's doing. He had just have to make some. He has, and we have had to make some strategic compromises for tactical advantage. That's a phrase a brother told me years ago, which I didn't. I never liked, but it is what it is. You say Mayor Bow Wow and Mayor Ant-Man Adams are doing that part to destroy this city. Well, I mean, I don't know about Adams, but Mayor Bow Wow, she's a homophile, so I mean, we don't really, and this is a whole nother show. Actually, it's part of the lecture, but we don't like to connect homophilia and race traitorism. But a lot of times, most of the time, they go hand in hand, right? They go hand in hand, and we don't like to look at it that way. I had never really looked at it that way till I really, till Brother Genie really brought it to my attention. But then when I started looking at it and researching this stuff, it's like, yeah, these things do go kind of hand in hand. They go together. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to address it or whatever. And there's things that I know that show that way more than I really want to get into. Because I'll be talking about some people hold in high esteem and high regard. And without me bringing pictures and videos of their activities, then it becomes hearsay and gossip. And y'all know I don't like to deal with that too much. But yeah, so it is what it is. Since Vanessa says there needs to be an increase in lectures regarding traders that go hand in hand with the hat lectures to call all these people out. And Brother B48 man says a very seamless connection to him. Yeah, but yeah, brother, of course, because you well studied, you're a scholar in your own right, so no one has to convince you because you have researched the research, as I used to say. So of course we don't have to convince you, but other people, I don't think they really think about it that way. Which has been to our detriment, to be completely honest, because it allows some people to run rampant and run amok and do all types of things and not be called to the carpet because especially some of our elders wasn't, well, let's put it like this, the people wasn't advertising to the elders who they were. You know what I'm saying? So when they started doing some sideways stuff, they probably wasn't really aware of why the person was going to do that. So that's all I'll say on that. So with that, brothers and sisters, I am going to get out of here. Brother, you got ripped off. Don't forget to send me that information on the Urugu prosecutor and that whole case, so I can do a radical report on that. And with that, I'm going to close out, and I'm going to say, oh, hold up, brother. That's just hold on. What do you say, brother? Just because of what I think is SBP's work, people were talking about Leo Frank so much that the hats on a media too. Brother. Yeah, brother. I saw that. I saw that. I I saw it every time when they first rolled out, and I can't think of the hat's name, the president of ADL. People have been laying into him and crushing him. So we're gonna take credit for that, whether it's us or not. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take credit. And I'm gonna say this real quick before I go. I am proud of our people taking a stand and backing up the brothers, or just taking a stand because they was waiting for the opportunity. To taking a stand on the against these hats when they was trying to make a move on our people. I am so proud of you all for that and standing up and not bending over. Yeah, green black. Yeah, they've been smacking him upside his head every time he opened his mouth. So I just want to say that, man. I'm proud of black people for that. I'm proud of you all for that, man. Holding the line against these hats, because they were never expecting it, and they had to go back and regroup. So that was a W. And Brother Dessalines says, let's never stop the work. We making a difference. Yes, sir, brother, we are. So with that, I say a baby for Hodie and straight black pride.